everybody. My name is Jack Cary, and I'm your host here on Threshold. Welcome to the Threshold of new knowledge, of conspiracies, of UFOs, of cryptozoology, and all things that are paranormal. Let's hit the news, the paranormal news wires. First of all, the Japan Times is running a story called "The Real Government Conspiracy Isn't About UFOs." And they state, earlier this year, following last summer's congressional hearings on UFOs, the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, otherwise known as AARO, issued a 63-page report evaluating almost 80 years of evidence. Its conclusion, not altogether surprising, given the name of the office, can be summarized as follows. The Senate Intelligence Committee isn't buying it. The Intelligence Authorization Act, which it passed recently, among other things, calls for a review of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. The bill would also limit research into what are now called UAPs, for unidentified anomalous phenomena, unless Congress is informed, and add whistleblower protections for anyone who might wish to step forward and speak their minds. Less plausible claims about UAPs have been achieved in greater circulation, in part because of the efforts of David Grush, who testified before Congress last year about hidden alien bodies, crashed vehicles, and secret conspiracies. Those claims, which primary witnesses have not corroborated, defy belief, and the ensuing controversy has helped make concerns about UAPs appear silly. So the Japan Times is running a fascinating article all about the ongoing battle in the United States, dealing with the ongoing UFO disclosure program. I find that fascinating that the Japan Times is running a story about our disclosure, and I encourage everybody to check that out. Now, News Nation is running a story, and it is titled "Aliens Are Interacting with Humans: Retired Army Colonel States." So, News Nation contributor Ross Coulthart digs into stories in the media is supposedly not meant to tell. And this time he's telling the story about a retired Army colonel named Carl Nell, who claims that not only does non-human intelligence exist, but it has been to Earth and it has been actively interacting with humanity. Nell made this statement during a live chat at the SALT iConnections conference, which is billed as a conference for disruptive innovation in finance and geopolitics. Nell cited his previous experience on the Pentagon's UFO-UAP task force while making the claim. He has previously suggested the government has agreed to hold back top secret information for some time, and suggested that failing to disclose it would be, quote, catastrophic. That's a great article. Next in line is an article coming out of the Irish Star. And this was actually reported on many different magazines, internet news sites, etc. And I quote, "Hairy aliens used mind control to scare off officials from UFO crash site," claims ex-CIA scientist. So, and it goes on to say, a group of small, gray, and hairy aliens appeared on Earth and controlled the minds of covert American officials to stop them from recovering a UFO crash site, according to classified documents. Now, this story is all over the news wires, and it is purporting to tell the story that it was in a cold climate that they were able to come across a crash site. These aliens appeared and basically controlled them to the point where they couldn't recover the crash. Now, these astonishing revelations emerge from recently disclosed emails between former CIA scientist Hal Puthoff and ex-CIA Life Sciences Division Analyst Kit Green. So you're talking about two world-class scientists who were communicating with one another in emails. And all of this information was basically leaked through these emails. And now it's making its appearance all through the different news agencies around the world. You say something like hairy aliens, and all of a sudden people get completely freaked out and turn off the channel because they think you're crazy. But when you have two CIA scientists, two scientists that are renowned worldwide for how smart they are, conversing with one another in private emails who are talking about it, then it's not so crazy. So tonight's subject, we're going to talk about the unified field theory of paranormal activity. So the unified field theory of paranormal activity is something I developed to explain any and all paranormal activity taking place on the planet today. There are two branches. One is interdimensional. The other is interaction with a type 3 society on the Kardashev scale. Let's explain the Kardashev scale. So there was a Russian scientist, and his name was Nicholas Kardashev, and he came up with a brilliant idea that you could judge the advancement of a civilization according to how much power they consume. The idea being the higher your technology is, the more power it will consume. A type 1 civilization can harness all of the power off their neighboring star. They do this by building a huge structure around the star in such a way that it basically harnesses all the power. A type 2 civilization can do that in their entire solar system. And a type 3 civilization can do that for an entire galaxy. Now, there was another scientist, and he concluded that if this was true, there should have been at least one civilization survive long enough to be able to colonize the entire galaxy. And his name was Enrico Fermi. And it's known as Fermi's paradox. Now, he gets that idea from another scientist named Frank Drake, who invented the radio telescope, who came up with the Drake equation that says that for any given galaxy, there should be so many civilizations, and some of those should have survived, either interwarfare or threats coming from space, etc. Enrico Fermi says, and I quote, "The absence of aliens on our doorway is in itself significant." But Enrico Fermi wasn't paying attention to the UFO phenomenon, as many scientists turn their heads away because they didn't land on the White House lawn. So many of them are subjugated to their own prejudices against what they think an alien presence would be or how it would interact with humanity. The other branch, and this would cover interaction with this type 3 society, by the way, would cover everything from UFO sightings to alien abductions to cattle mutilations to, you name, 50% of all paranormal activity would and could be attributed to interaction with a type 3 society. Now, it was Arthur C. Clarke who once said that any sufficiently advanced science will be indistinguishable from magic. And what are we witnessing? we're witnessing a science that is indistinguishable from magic. The other type of paranormal activity, and there are only two branches, but the other type of paranormal activity is interdimensional in nature. And in my unified field theory of paranormal activity, I explain that how and why we live on a paranormal planet. So there are doorways on our planet. They are located above huge quartz crystal deposits inside the crust of our planet. And all of this mechanism works through what we call the Mach effect. Okay, so the Mach effect is a very simple scientific idea. That is, mass travels through space, it fluctuates. Those are just slight fluctuations that happen as it travels. Each one of those fluctuations produces energy as a byproduct. Those fluctuations can be taken advantage of, and they can be harnessed. And when you harness those fluctuations, you can turn them into a type of propulsion, and that is called the Mach effect. The Earth is a body of mass traveling through space, and as such, there are minute fluctuations that take place in the crust. Underneath the crust are these huge quartz crystal deposits. When it fluctuates, they become compressed. When you compress quartz crystal together enough, it becomes ionized. When it ionizes, it begins to produce electromagnetic fields. Those electromagnetic fields are strong enough to rip a hole or tear a hole in the membrane that separates our dimension from another dimension. And we call that paranormal activity. Now, going forward in the show, we're going to explore the idea that doorways are opening up in our national park system, that they are swallowing people, that the hundreds and hundreds of people that have gone missing in the national park system can be attributed to a natural scientific phenomenon that I believe is happening here on the planet. Likewise, we're going to explore all kinds of cryptozoological mysteries. We are going to explore alien abduction. We're going to explore hybrids walking among us, and we're going to explore remote viewing. So you will have to join me on future episodes, and we will begin to delve into some of the deeper aspects of many of these mysteries. I thank you for being with me today, and I'll see you next week.
This has been a CARC Universal production.